Welcome to the Builders of Authority podcast, a show committed to helping you build authority for your brand. In the realm of business and personal branding, authority stands as a cornerstone. Authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. So join us as we build something remarkable together. And now, here's your host, Adam McChesney.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Builders of Authority podcast. I've got my man, Brandon Fuchs, on the show today. This is one I've been looking forward to for a while. Brandon and I originally connected online a few years ago. We got a lot of the same people in our circles. We've had some great conversations about business, life, the contracting and home services space, but really about what it takes to build something meaningful and successful. He's the founder of Elite Builder Society. So if you're a contractor and you don't know that name yet, you hopefully will by the end of this episode. Brandon is an incredible guy. I've personally seen him take his business and personal brand to the next level. He's going to get into his story, his experience, what makes him and his company tick, and why they're so successful. So he's got a lot of awesome business highlights to share, as well as branding expertise. So Brandon, welcome to the show, man.
Oh yeah, that was a good intro. I like that.
It's funny, and I told somebody this so I had an in-person episode with an HVAC guy here a couple weeks ago, and he was like, dude, I've been on a couple podcasts before. That was awesome. How did you come up with that introduction? So have you heard of the app called Victor?
No.
What
No.
did you say? Okay.
No.
So it's Victor, and essentially it's this AI employee that lives inside of your Slack. So we have the automation that says, hey, Brandon booked his podcast with you, whatever. That automation then goes and triggers Victor to start going and doing research on you. And then I say how I met Brandon or whatever the guest is.
Yeah.
A little bit about what we're going to talk about. And then Victor knocked that out and then gave me bullet points.
There we go. I love it. Technology.
Nuts.
It feels like cheating almost, but I mean, dude, like technology is moving so quick that I feel like if you're not really taking advantage of those subtle little tools, you're really not doing your business service, like
100%.
yeah, it's wild. Cool. I love that. Well, I appreciate that intro. It's best one I've had to date.
Love it, man. Well, I'm excited. Tell people a little bit about kind of who you are, what you do, how you got to where we're at today.
Cool, man. Yeah. So thanks for having me. First off, really excited about this conversation and this episode. Yeah, we've been talking for a couple of years now, and following each other's journey. It's cool, man. I think that the online world is a real space, and you meet and connect with these people, and you build a relationship with them for years, like virtually, right? And hopefully this year you'll get to see me at Connect. I kind of screwed that up a little bit. Should have been there last year, but I'm going to make sure I'm there this year. But you build these relationships with people online, and it's wild, man. Like 90% of my people are online all over North America. Like it went from in-person people to now like my group is virtual, which is a wild experience. But no, dude, I'm excited to dig into this. So for everyone that doesn't know who I am, I've been in the construction industry for well over 2 decades. I've managed well over $100 million worth of large scale residential and commercial projects. And at a point in my career, I found myself looking to shift positions. I've always been kind of like a healer, even at a young age. Like I always want to help other people versus myself, which is, not healthy, I think, in a roundabout way, but it's really fulfilling. And so a couple of years ago, somebody had asked me, hey, can you help me, set up my business? We got a construction business, and they were in the US, and I'm up here in Canada. And I was like, man, yeah, non-conflicting. So I was like, okay, this should be a good vibe. And we went down the road, and he blew up. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, somebody just paid me to help me set up help them set up their business. That was a cool experience, and it was very, very similar feeling to some of the nonprofit work that I've done. And I was like, I really like this. Like, I really like what this feels like. I'm going to try to make this into something, and and I've been doing that ever since.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when the light bulb moment goes off. You're like, wow, this worked, and I made money in it, and I can do more of it.
Yeah.
Checks all of the boxes.
Yeah, for sure. No, it was cool, man. And like I've come a long way since that first client. And I think it's very similar to like any business, right? You experience a victory inside of that business. And then you start to learn more about the business itself. And then you start to get better at that business, and you start to really adjust the things that aren't effective, and really focus on the things that are effective. And so it's been a couple of years now since that client, but I've helped hundreds of contractors since then. And it's a wild road, man. It's a wild road. Love it.
That's awesome. So talk to us a little bit about your business model. Like, let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, so just recently crossed 20,000 followers on Instagram, which is wild. And did that primarily through trial reels. So trial reels are like the most effective way to generate new engagement. And so originally I started branding myself on Instagram as the contractor coach. And then continued to do that, and then expanded and built a community called the Elite Builder Society. The Elite Builder Society is basically it's a hub where we have industry professionals all across North America that service all different types of fields within any construction business, accessible. And we host calls for $49 a month. So it's like a kind of like a webinar where you'll get access to like 20 webinars per month for literally $49, and you'll have access to those industry professionals to add on to your business if you so choose. And then alongside that, you can couple some one-on-one coaching. So we have a couple coaches in the community now. It's not just me anymore. But we have a couple coaches inside the community that also, serve and help business owners kind of where they're at. So that service is obviously a lot more than $49 a month, but that's kind of the gist of it.
And so I love how you have like an option for everybody,
Yeah.
because what I think a lot of people get stuck on is like, hey, I need something, but I'm not fitting the mold of whatever the coach is offering and the program is offering. It's like, hey, we have an entry level point, we have a little bit higher level point, and then we have these other people that can even go do bits and pieces for you as well. How did you kind of come up with the business model? I'm sure it wasn't like day one you're like, man, this is where it's at today. But what did I guess you see that was a void as well
Yeah.
in the coaching space?
So obviously I've been in coaching programs, and I just looked at what they were doing and reflected on my experience with what they were offering to me and said, you know what, I would prefer if I had this. And so that was part of it. But then also just looking at the clients. So like and if you're listening to this, I'm going to call every contractor out. There are over 600,000 service-based contractors in North America. Over 600,000. 50% of them are going to fail. Over 50% of them are going to fail, and it's a vicious rotation of man, I don't want to say incompetence, but it's just like a fear. I think it's a vicious cycle of fear, and people are afraid. They think that everyone's trying to screw everyone over. And I think that they have to get out of their own way. Like ultimately you're gonna have to learn something or fail, because that's just the stat. And so what I learned through my discoveries with so many people, because like even though I've helped hundreds of contractors, I've met with thousands of contractors that have went the other direction and said, no, you know what, I don't want to pay $49, or I don't want to pay, your $6,000 for your service. And I'm like, cool, man, no stress. They're out of business. Like a large portion of them are out of business. And so what I learned through that whole process was I need to make something that catches them when they're in this cycle, when they're in this journey, and then find a way just to like wake them. I don't know if I can curse in here, but wake them up. They have to wake up and just understand that like you're going to get to wherever you're going to get to with or without me. And where you're going to go may not be where you want it to go.
Yep.
And so when you have an opportunity to work with someone and they've made it that accessible, I think you really have to look at yourself and say, fuck, this guy's really trying to help me. Like I'm in a position right now where this guy's not trying to screw me, he's trying to help me. And so that's kind of why the business model shifted in that direction. And it also was created also by my own needings. Like when I started my construction company, I left a really good paying carpentry job at a gas plant, and I went on my own, and I fucking struggled for like 5 years. And this was before social media was even a thing. It was like I was looking at the phone book thinking, man, how does the pizza store spend 20 grand on a freaking 4 page in the phone book? Like this is a dumb, or the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about, okay, so maybe I'll just get like a business card in the phone book.
Yeah.
And so that was when I started marketing my business. And I didn't have mentors in my life. I didn't have a lot of the right people. I had the wrong people. I had my friends, sisters, aunties, uncles, cousin that was an accountant or that ran some freaking website company or whatever. And it was like they weren't specialized with my business. And so whatever they were feeding me was whatever, was what they had put on their last customer. So if I'm getting my website built by a person that does freaking restaurants, and now they're building a construction website, it's like it's totally different and the needs are totally different. And so I found a spot where it was like, you know what, we all need very specific things, and I wanted to build a space where all those very specific things were very selectively selected, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, and you hit on two key things that I think are super important to kind of go back and hash out is the fact of the failure rate is pretty astronomical when you think about it. And you don't hear obviously a lot about it because a lot of these companies, the ones that don't make it are the ones that are not online. They're the ones that are not asking for help. So you don't necessarily like you're only privy to the information and the connections and the data points that you have, but a lot of people think that they have to also wait until it's too late to ask for help. And I always tell people is like, man, like from day one, I joined my first mastermind. It was a group mastermind where I learned personal branding, and it's what has catapulted a lot of my brand today. Is I did that a month in because the first month that I went full time, I got zero new sales, and I was like, I got to figure this thing out. I didn't wait to a year. I didn't necessarily have the money to invest, but I was like, man, I want to condense the amount of time it's going to take me to get to this next level. And so a lot of people, to your point as well, also look at this as an expense. And it's like, man, so much of this stuff, especially in the coaching space, is it is going to be an expense, but you have to look at it as an investment. And a lot of times it's hard to put a true aspect of return on investment, but it's building you as the person, right? I mean, I'm sure you have so many stories where like you help somebody personally more than you did in their business. And when you fix them personally and help them get good personally, their business blew up too. You got
Yeah,
to fix the person.
this shit is priceless. Like
Yeah.
priceless. The amount of energy that I give to my clients is insane. Like I've cried on calls with some of the people, like I have one of the contractors in my community. Dude, he was like one of my first clients, and I had to almost like beg him to work with me. And he was like not even truly my avatar right now. Like he is now, but he wasn't then. And I was like begging for, to help him. And he was like, I just don't know. And I think he had to like hide the investment from his wife and all the things, and he didn't really have the money. And so then later on I learned that I mean he was going down a bad road, like a very bad mental road.
Yeah.
His brain was in a dangerous space. His wife nearly died that year that we had connected. Like crazy shit. Like such great. We've been working together for 2 years, like
Mm.
almost 2 years now, and they haven't been on a vacation in like forever. Forever. They went on their first cruise like 2 months ago.
Mm.
They went to a boot camp with Job Tread. Like just all these little things happened, and it wouldn't have happened if he wouldn't have connected with me, if he wouldn't have made that took that risk. Like he took a risk against his wife and paid for something that he thought she wouldn't approve.
Yeah.
And so like the experiences are wild, man, like across the board. And And I think those are the guys that are like right on the edge of calling it a day, you know, not just with business, but with other things, and I'm not gonna get too deep and dark into that stuff, but I really think like the suicidal rate in this industry, unfortunately, is due to fear of like, what the next move is. And when you have an opportunity to just try something different, I just really try to encourage you to just jump into it, like get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, because being uncomfortable is growth and it's necessary. And if you can do it in the right way, if you can do it in a healthy way, it can really catapult you into maybe going on your first vacation.
Mm. Yeah, I mean that's an incredible testament and story to like coaching and what you're doing, and I think I've seen it on the other side obviously too, because we have the marketing company, but we exited our auto glass company, which is a service-based business. We've had a landscape design company before. Now I have a roofing company and an outdoor living company that we're partners in Long Island, New York. And you get on the other side of this, right? And so much of running a business, regardless of the industry, is trying to solve problems that don't need to be solved and then pushing problems that do need to be solved under the rug that you just do not want to tackle. And people want to outsource it, whether they want to outsource the marketing, they want to outsource financial literacy, like all these basic things that like, yeah, you do need to eventually probably outsource marketing or get a bookkeeper or get a CPA. Like that's just gonna happen. But like if you fear so much about showing up on social media, promoting your business, understanding cash flow, like the basics inside of running a business because you want to pay somebody to do all that stuff for you. And then on the other side, you're trying to go, oh, I need 100 more leads or I need to switch to the seventh CRM software I've been on in the last 5 years. Like you start creating these problems inside of your business because you're running away from the problems that actually need
Yes.
to be solved.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I think like a lot of people just really don't understand fundamentals. Like they don't understand what is connected to generating a lead. Like
Mm.
what do I have to actually do to generate a lead, and why am I not closing deals? Like so many people start investing in leads early on and they have no presence. They have no data that actually tells them whether or not they're really good at what they do. And so then they pay for a lead, they pay all this money, and then they don't close it, and it's somebody else's fault. And it's like, no, it's your fault. Like your business sucks. And the reason you're not closing that deal is because that's a cold lead, and you've now paid for a cold lead that came to you and isn't like they don't trust you. They're not you're not validating them that you're capable of doing things. And I think there's so many like pillars to this industry that people neglect the things that they really need to do, and they focus on things that don't fucking matter. Like they focus on so many things that don't matter, that don't drive their business, that actually just drive it into the ground. And I mean, I think you hit it on the head. People are avoiding things that they need to do and doing things that they don't need to do too frequently.
Yep. What would you say right now? Some of the things, obviously, there's probably a lot of questions. We'll get into AI in a second, how it's impacting the contracting space. You probably knew I was going to ask that question, right? But what are the other things that people are coming to you with that say, hey, Brandon, like I'm just struggling right now? Like, is there a thing or two, or is it kind of all over the board? Like, what is most keeping people up at night?
I mean, well, they don't know what's keeping them up at night, so they think they think they know what's keeping them up at night until they meet with us a couple times, and then we identify what their weaknesses are, and we actually share with them what we think their strengths are, and they're generally the complete opposite of what they actually thought they were, or they thought that that was who they were. And so what I always find is that the solutions are in the work that you're already doing. Like the work that you're already doing can have slight adjustments and mega improvements. And so really what we first start with is allowing, our clients to understand what the sales framework needs to look like, how to generate a lead organically, and when to start investing in leads. And then also really just digging into the identity of their business and what they're missing. I feel like everybody has different strengths and weaknesses at different points in their life. Like my weakness today is not the same as it was 2 years ago. My strength today is amplified by where I started 2 years ago. And so I feel like right now, like one of our biggest featured assets would be taking somebody from looking at 10 or 20 jobs and only closing a couple to getting them confident to understand that they could walk into a room with any other contractor and they know exactly how to talk with that client next to another contractor and convert and close that opportunity. Um, Most big opportunities aren't lost because the client is, you know, like not interested in your services, your budget's too high, like, all these things that you start projecting on them
Yep.
as to why they're not working with you. It's on your own shit. And you have to position yourself like as a commanded authority when you're in front of that opportunity so you can fucking convert them. Like if you have like you could throw me in a room with 100 other contractors and I'll close the job. Like I have the level of confidence that I can surpass whatever they're doing right now and service that client in a way that they've never experienced in their life, and that they are willing to pay me even more for my service because they know that the outcome will be, they can feel the outcome. They can feel what the end result is like in the first 30 minutes. You're asking your client essentially to marry you in 30 minutes, you know, and you have to find a way to get from, hey, nice to meet you, to, so what are we going to do on our 10-year anniversary in 30 minutes? And that's a journey that a lot of people fail to struggle to understand they need to hyper focus on. So I mean, it really just depends. The person, everybody has a different problem, but generally they all still are in a roundabout way have similar problems.
Yeah. Unique, but not too unique.
Yeah, exactly. Special to them, but not too special.
Yeah. So as I kind of alluded to before, like what are you seeing? Questions? How are you seeing people implement AI? All this stuff in the contracting space.
AI is crazy, dude. Craziest thing in life. I mean, the craziest part is so many people are still not doing it. That's the craziest part. You think that, like, I feel like I'm so far behind, but yet I'm probably like pretty far ahead in what I'm doing. Not the furthest ahead, but far enough ahead. And I think what I notice is so many people just aren't they aren't doing it. And so, ChatGPT came around. What was it? What are we on here? 24, 28 months ago. I don't know how long I mean, AI has been around forever. Like automations have been around forever, for a long, long time. But ChatGPT kind of made it more streamlined and user friendly. And so then people started getting really familiar with it, and asking it all kinds of dumb shit, which is great because that's a good starting point, right? And then when you start integrating it into your business, I think, like, it really starts to transform yourself. Claude right now is just wild with what you can do with Claude. Like me and my team, we have an out, like, maybe it's not enough, but we have a full hour dedicated every day to new implementation with Claude. Full hour scheduled every day. And we just kind of did that. I was like, man, I feel like because really what's happening with technology, and I was explaining this to somebody else, years would go by, right? And your business would change and transform over a year. But now what's happening is the transformations are happening in months, sometimes in weeks. And the opportunities are being presented week to week, month to month versus year to year. And so what I really find unique about technology is that it can feel overwhelming with how much opportunity lives within it, and how much, like, for me, I get a bit of FOMO, like I'm not doing enough. I get this like fixation where I need to do more. Like I need to be really hyper focused. And so I think, like, what I notice about it in construction is just the optimization. The opportunity for optimizing your business. Everybody in business, even the shitty contractor that's going to go out of business, this year, even that guy, he's trying to find a way to make his business more efficient so he can make more money on site. That's all he knows. He's like, okay, I got to go get, 5 or 6 2x4s. I got to come to site, and maybe I could take, this turn versus that turn. And maybe I could fill up my truck early, and maybe I could hire this guy, and maybe I could, do whatever, right? They're all trying to optimize their business in real life, but they're neglecting the other optimization that is in the front end of their business, which is all this admin shit. You got communication, you got sales, you got admin, you got scheduling, you got just all this front end stuff, which accounts for like a third of your business.
Yep.
Over a third of your business. And you can be the most efficient with a third of your business, which naturally will make the other parts of your business even more efficient. So, I feel like people are naturally doing this. They're just neglecting the things that it's really made to truly complement, so to speak.
Yeah. No, great answer. And I think the recurring theme just in business as well is like utilize technology or new stuff at the easiest inflection point on the stuff that you don't like doing the most, which is typically going to be the admin, the organization stuff, emails, all the minutia that has to be done, but it doesn't always have to be done by you, whether that's a virtual assistant or AI and Claude or whatever. Like there's so many different avenues for somebody to go take and just say, hey, how can I make my business simpler right now without adding additional complexity?
Yeah, I think I like truly like what we're working on some stuff right now, and I don't want to like give too much away, but at the end of the day, I really think that first third of the business can be completely automated to a succession of nearly 100%. Like we can almost, find clients like perfectly. We can almost convert clients perfectly. We can almost communicate with clients perfectly. We can almost schedule and organize clients perfectly. We still have to do the actual job, right? So we still need people to do the work, which we can organize almost perfectly. And then we can almost retain and follow up with these clients perfectly. So the actual doing of the work now only is like a third,
Yep.
and 2/3 of it is admin, organization, succession, recommunication. And so, we're in the midst right now of trying to build, and we're really close, building a tool that does all that. That does literally the whole thing. And it what that's going to do, and this is what I try to explain to other people that are not using technology, because I have people that don't use technology, and I'm like, dude, your expiration date is coming.
Yep.
Like it's not that far away. If you continue, well, I'm going to be retiring soon. Okay, cool. I mean,
Yeah.
all the best. You could have built a crazy business right now with a big name and sold it, and retired with more. But like, if you think about all of what I just said, right? You think about the 2/3 of business being ran by a freaking box. The box is worth a couple grand. And all that needs to happen is the organization inside of that box to execute this amount of work. That box could execute millions of dollars worth of tasks and duties in real time very, very quickly. That means that the service is going to come down significantly, because the space is going to get very, 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 very competitive, and the price point is going to come down with this optimization efficiency, because like naturally that company is going to want to dangle this unique carrot in front of the market. And the way to do that is say, hey, look, we've taken away all this clunky shit. Now we have a super efficient, clean, lean machine. Then you're going to get the savings. You're going to save 50% on this service. And now, how is the cabinet company going to compete? How is the plumbing company going to compete? How is the, paint company going to compete when other companies that are using this box, this brain, at this level of efficiency, when they're still serving the client and creating a great result? Like, look, think about Uber. Like, why is Uber so good?
Yeah.
Because it's easy.
It's easy. It's convenient.
Yeah, it's easy. It's everywhere. And like, yeah, for sure, the driver sucks. In Calgary, I think they have like 60,000. I don't know. The driver, I was asking the driver, I was like, how many like Ubers are there? He's like, too many. Too many Ubers. I was like, well, I love it, man. They're like, it's 2 minutes, not even 1 minute. There's like a lineup of Ubers to come get me. I feel like that's a great service. It's a great product. Yeah, but we don't make any money. I was like, well, I mean, I think that's on you to kind of find a way to make money as, you know, as the service provider. But there's a reason, you know, there's a reason you're driving that car.
Yep.
Right. And so think about Uber efficiency, accessibility, price points efficient. Same thing's going to happen in construction quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I totally agree with that. What are you most excited about as we kind of like wrap everything up? Like, what are you most excited about? What about what you guys are doing, about what Brandon's got?
Man, I think I'm just excited to be a part of the journey. I'm excited to build the legacy that my kids, you know, can look back and say, "Fuck, look what my dad did." You know, like look what my dad did. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what, you know, what I'm going to finish doing. I don't know how far I'm going to get in the game, but I really love what I'm doing right now. And I think like I'm just trying to make as big of an impact on the people that I get to work with as fast as humanly possible. Like anybody that works in my ecosystem and is actually like truly fucking committed to the doing of the work, I'll give them all of my attention. And so, you know, I'm the most excited about the people that are really thirsty for success and want, you know, true success. And so that's where I'm at.
Love it, man. Well, where can people stay connected with you and learn about Elite Builder Society?
Like just follow me at the _ contractor coach on Instagram. That's the best place to find me. You can shoot me a DM. I'm obviously not going to be responding. I've got a bot in there. We call it Emma. Emma's my bot. And so he or she, whatever you want to think, we'll be chatting with you. That's the best place. So at the _ contractor coach. And if you want to be a part of the community, it's literally only $49 a month. That'll get you kind of a front row seat to what this stuff kind of looks like. ebsworks.com. So www.ebsworks.com is how you can join.
Love it, man. Well, thanks so much for taking the time. And as you mentioned, hopefully I'll be seeing you in person here soon.
Yeah, I'm coming. I was just actually we were just chatting with them about what that looks like. So probably going to come. We're gonna do a little speaking spot and maybe a webinar with them too. But we'll see what happens.
Nice. Love it, man. We'll keep crushing it. Appreciate you. And we'll talk here soon.
All right. Cheers, bro. Thanks.
And thank you, everybody, for watching or listening to today's podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the platform of your choice. Share this content on social media. Leave reviews on the podcasting platform that you listen to every episode on. Thank you so much for this support. And remember, authority isn't built overnight. It's built over time.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. We sure do appreciate it. Until next time, friends.